Hey, welcome. Today we're diving into a program that's trying to solve one of the biggest puzzles in the tech world. What's the real gap between just coding and actually engineering? We're going to break down the TechMaster Full Stack Application Engineering Program to see how it works and what it's trying to do for the next wave of tech professionals. So let's start with the big question that this whole program is really built on. What is the difference between a coder and an engineer? I mean, you could say one person writes code that works, but the other person designs and builds entire systems that can grow, that can change, and that solve real, complex problems. And believe me, that difference is absolutely everything in today's job market. This quote from the program's own materials just hits the nail on the head. Look, the industry is full of people who know how to use the latest tools and frameworks. What's actually rare, what's in demand, are the folks who can think bigger, who can make tough decisions, who understand the trade-offs, and who can ship something that's truly ready for the real world. That's the challenge they're focused on. Which brings us right to our first major idea, making that leap from coder to engineer. And as you're about to see, this is way more than just a change in your job title. It's a complete shift in how you think and what you're able to build. Think about it. A modern app isn't just a web page anymore. It's a whole ecosystem. You've got the front end that you see on your phone, talking to a back end which is running on some cloud server somewhere. Companies desperately need people who can see that entire picture from end to end. Just knowing your own little silo, that really doesn't cut it anymore. So how do you actually teach someone to think that way? Well, the program's answer is what they call an engineering-first philosophy, and this is really the foundation for their entire approach to learning. And here's what that actually means. This is not some casual boot camp where you just pick up a new skill. It's designed as a deeply structured learning journey. See that phrase, engineering first? That's the key. The point isn't just to teach you a tool. It's to teach you how to think like an engineer while you're using that tool. The whole program is built in 3 distinct layers. You start with a really solid foundation. That's the IBM Professional Certificate. Then you add on more advanced stuff like mobile development. But here's the kicker, the secret sauce, that 3rd layer, the engineering layer. These are live interactive sessions that are all about system thinking, design, and architecture. The stuff that truly defines an engineer. So you've got this philosophy, but how do you actually put it into practice? Well, they do it with a specific structure they call the balanced learning model. We've talked about the what, now let's get into the how. Okay, this is a really clever design. During the week, it's all on you. You're doing self-paced work, getting your hands dirty with the tools, building up that muscle memory. That's the what. But then on the weekends, the whole game changes. You're in live sessions focused completely on the why, the big concepts, system design, and engineering judgment. It's like a 1-2 punch of practical skills and deep strategic thinking. And they are not kidding around about the commitment to that hands-on learning. We are talking about 190 hours of self-paced content. That's a serious amount of time dedicated to getting you fluent in the full stack of tools. But then, check this out. That's immediately balanced with another 130 hours of live, instructor-led sessions. This tells you everything. The why isn't just an add-on. It's a huge part of the program. They spend almost as much time teaching you how to think as they do teaching you what to type. And this is so important. Those live sessions aren't just a simple review of what you learned that week. They actually reorganize the topics. Why? So they can connect the dots for you, build up that higher level view, and really forge that engineering mindset without just throwing a ton of information at you. It's all about making that time as impactful as possible. Okay, now let's talk about what might be the program's single biggest differentiator. It's their completely unique approach to projects, something they call your evolving portfolio. This is where it all clicks. See, instead of building a dozen tiny separate projects, which is kind of like building a bunch of little sheds, you build one single system that grows over time. It's more like building a skyscraper. You start with a foundation, then you evolve those parts into a real full-stack system. Then you take that same system and you move it to the cloud. And for the grand finale, you build a mobile app that talks to it. You are literally building and scaling a product, exactly like a real-world engineering team. So, after all that building and all that work, what do you actually walk away with at the end of the day? That brings us to the final showcase, the actual tangible proof of your transformation. The result is something you can point to. Graduates end up with 7 to 8 high-quality project repositories on their GitHub. And this isn't about just having a bunch of projects. It's about having a collection of work that tells a single, powerful story. Because when a hiring manager looks at this portfolio, it's not just code. It shows a clear journey of your skills getting more advanced. It tells the story of how a simple app grew into a complex, connected system. It proves you can build things that are ready for prime time, things that can scale, all while using the same workflows that real companies use. And that brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? This statement sums up the whole philosophy we just explored. The goal isn't about collecting tools for your resume. It's about becoming the kind of person who can actually build, maintain, and ship real-world applications from start to finish. So we'll leave you with this question because it's really the only one that matters. Looking at all this, it makes you think about your own career goals. Are you trying to learn another feature, another tool, or are you ready to make that leap and start building entire systems? Definitely something to think about.